I like to just dump my stuff out.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Melinda, plain and simple.
I'm back in my basement again, and I know it seems like it's been a while since we've been down here, and that's because last week was my 10 minutes better video, and we had the theme Muy Caliente. I took advantage of that to go through my coat closet. I've been procrastinating on doing that for quite a while, but this gave me an opportunity to get in there and see what I had. I was able to let go of a few things, put a couple of things in quarantine, and also planted a few seeds, so maybe there'll be some other things that I will let go of in the future if I find that I am not choosing them. But for now, it is time to get started on decluttering back here in the basement again. Last couple of weeks ago, we peeked inside of a cabinet, and that is where I'm going to start. There's a lot of stuff in there, so I don't know if we can get through all of it in one session, but we're going to give it a shot. So if you've got anything that you want to declutter around your house, grab your stuff and come on, we'll do it together. And by the way, I don't want to forget to tell you, I got a new phone, so if things look a little wonky, it's because I'm still trying to figure out how to work it, how to hold it, all of those things. So bear with me. Hopefully I'll figure it out pretty soon. And if you have any trouble with sound or anything like that on your end, let me know, because I've heard that sometimes there can be sound issues when you get new devices, but you can't tell it on your own equipment. So I may not be able to tell on my end that other people are having an issue. So if you do have any issues, let me know, because I do want to try to figure out how to address it if that is the case. So meanwhile, let's get started. Get your stuff. Come on. Okay guys, are you ready to get back into it? Now, if you're new to my channel, I'll just let you know, my whole basement needs to be decluttered, and so I've been tackling a little at a time, and I've been focusing mainly on this room to start with. And last week, we ended up with this cabinet. We took a peek in here. A lot of times, I don't know what I'm going to do the next time, but last time I decided to peek in here and see what was in here, and this is where we're going to start. So as you can see, there's lots of stuff in here. But just by looking in here last time, it gave me the ability to start preparing my mind to deal with all of this stuff. So I'm just going to pull out probably 1 or 2 bags at a time, or a box or something, and just get started. So whatever you got going on, you know, do however you like to do it. If you want to pull it all out at once, or if you want to do one thing at a time, if you like to do the Dana K. White method of the no mess decluttering, if you like to just dump it all out, however you like to do it, just do whatever you like to do. I like to just dump my stuff out. I'm going to sort all of this stuff out and see what I have, and then we'll see what I'm ready to let go of and what I am going to keep. Most of what was in that bag was stuff from when I made a wedding dress and a veil and some other things many years ago. So I have a lot of things like beads and some trim and things like that. There's some thread, elastic. I also made some stockings many years ago, and some of the things were the trims that I had from that. The majority of this stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and let it go. I am going to keep this ribbon, and I'm going to keep this one too for the time being. I'm going to see if I can use this in any way. Had some packaging, and I had some little bits of things that, you know what, I don't want to spend the time going through that and sorting it out, so I'm just going to let it go. I'm not even going to mess with it. But a few of these things, there's one particular little project that I am working on, and I'm going to see if any of that will work for that project. But if it doesn't, it's going, because I don't need to keep it. So one of the things that I am keeping in mind as I'm going through my stuff is that I've decided that I am not going to be doing the crafting and things as much as I used to. I'm not going to be doing the sewing as much as I used to. So just a basic sewing kit is good enough for me, and just having the things for a particular project going forward is all I need. So I'm not going to hang on to things for projects that I might be going to do. I'm going to be hanging on to things for the particular project that I have in mind. And then going forward, if I need items for a particular project that I want to do, I'll just go out and purchase those items at that time. I'm not going to hang on to a bunch of stuff just in case I do a project someday. So just a little tip. Don't hang on to all the stuff. If it's a problem for you, if you have a place and you actually get around to doing your projects, then, hang on to your stuff. I'm talking about for those of us who have the things and we hang on to it, but we never get around to doing it. I did a lot of that stuff. I have a whole house full of stuff that I never got around to doing the project. So I need to stop doing that and just keep the things for the projects that I am actually working on at the time or will in the near future. And if you do that, put a deadline on yourself. If you have a tendency to get things and you don't actually get around to doing the project, put a deadline on yourself. Now, this particular project where I might use these things, I am going to try to work on that project in the next couple of weeks. It may not be finished in a couple of weeks, but I'm at least going to get started on it in the next couple of weeks. And if I don't, then I need to consider, am I ever really going to do it? So you just have to make that decision for yourself, know how you tend to do, and act accordingly. Make those decisions accordingly. Let's dump another one out. Looks like it's more sewing stuff, maybe even some crafting stuff. I found a few things that I'm going to hang on to for the moment. More needles. In the last couple of videos that I've done, I have found lots of needles, but I'm going to go through all of those again and then decide how many and which ones I really need to keep. So I'll put these with the ones I found before. Same thing with bobbins. I want to make sure these are the right kind for my sewing machine, and so I'll hang on to those for the time being. And a couple of other little things, some elastic. I don't think I have any elastic in my basic sewing kit, and some hook and eye things. So I'm going to keep those. These I'm going to put in my Christmas stuff in the trims, so maybe we can use them that way. I found some packaging and some just old, just stuff that's just basically trash. It looks like receipts and maybe something where I cut a little pattern out of paper. Some project stuff I never did get around to doing, so all that can just go into the trash. And then I also found several things that I can go ahead and let go of. I don't need any more thread, and there's some other things I've got. I know for sure that I've got plenty of straight pins, so I'm just going to, and lots of buttons. Look at all these buttons. I'm just going to go ahead and let all of this stuff go. That's a very cute little bag, isn't it? Let's see what else in here. This is a sewing machine that I used to have a long time ago, and it looks like there's just a bunch more sewing stuff in here. So let's see what we got. I found a few things that I'm going to hang on to. Some of these little clothespins, some of those little eyelet pliers. I don't know that I'll need that, but I'm going to hang on to it just for the time being. I may let go of that later. Some more needles, some wire, and some of these little screw eyes. Well, I don't know why I had so many. I must have been going to do a project, but I never got around to finishing it, or didn't do as much as I thought I would. So I'm going to let all the rest of these go. I'm just going to hang on to one of each of the sizes. That's plenty. I'll put that out in the garage in the tools. Also had these little hearts and these little nail heads. I don't even know why I had those. Some beads, initials, only one piece of trash in there. It was an old receipt. And a bunch of buttons. And this knitting needle, it's all bent, so I'm going to go ahead and let that go. And this thing that goes with the Kenmore sewing machine, I don't have that sewing machine anymore. But also, look at this. There was a whole bag inside of there of buttons. I don't know why I have all those buttons, but I don't need to keep all those buttons, so I'm going to let them go. This bag looks like it has craft items in it. and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to need to keep those. This might be useful though, so I'll have to look at that a little bit closer. But these things, I think this was just something that maybe I was going to do, but never did. But I have a whole lot of whatever it is. I'll go through here and see how much of that I got. It looks like the bag is full of bags full of stuff, so this could take a little bit of time. Okay, so I dumped that bag out, and look, there's a whole bunch of buttons, plus a bunch more buttons here. And now I am going to keep these two. I'm going to put these in my basic sewing kit. As you can see, there's more. There's a whole nother one of those. I don't need to keep that many. I'm just going to keep this because in case I have something that a button comes off of, we may need a button. And I don't have any in my basic sewing kit, so that should work. But all of these, I'm just going to let go of them. I don't even know why I had all of these. I also have these two cover buttons. This is an example of how I would buy a bunch of stuff with the intention of doing a craft or something, and then just never get around to doing it, or not do as much as I thought I was going to do. And so, yeah, that's why I say put a deadline on yourself. This stuff I have probably had for 30 years. I don't know. And then all of these things, I'm sure I never did get around to using any of those. I'm not going to. I'm going to let them go. Sorry, hubby is outside mowing the yard, so if that's loud, I apologize. Also had some things that can just go into the trash. And this is a knitting needle for cable stitch. Well, I've been putting the knitting needles aside so I can go through them, but I can pretty well tell you I'm not going to use this one, so I'm going to go ahead and let that one go. But that's just one of several bags that was inside of this bag. Now I'm going to go and see if we can find some more buttons in there. It looks like lots more buttons and snaps and things. I think it's just going to be more of the same, and most of it is going to be going bye-bye. Well, I emptied out the rest of that bag, and I have a few things I'm going to put in the garage. But I might go ahead and just put a pair of scissors out there, and I'm going to leave a pair of scissors down here in the basement. A few things that I'm going to put into my sewing stuff. Again, I'll go through that stuff again at some point and probably let go of some of that later on. Some things that are going to go into the trash. This tin is actually full of elastic, and I don't need to keep any of that, so I'm going to let it all go. And all of these things, I don't need to keep these things. Well, I found this box lid down there in that cabinet, and this bag. Looked inside of there, and this is what I found. This is a project that I started but never finished, and most likely never will. I think I was going to make a rug or something, and I used to buy those things that you could get at the fabric store, and you would make a blanket. Well, we cut the selvages off of them and save them, and then braid them into a pretty little thing, and then I was going to make a rug out of it, but I never did. This is how much I already have if I wanted to stitch it together. Isn't that pretty? I don't know, maybe I'll do that part. I don't know, we'll see. But if I don't do it soon, then it does need to go. I'll put the deadline on myself, just like what I told you to do. I'll put a deadline on myself, and if I haven't done it, then I need to let it go. I emptied this bag out and I found several things that I'm going to hang on to or ask hubby about. Some of this is his, some of it's mine. So for now, we'll be hanging on to this. Had a few bookmarks that I'm going to let go of, some trash, and then I also found these down in that cabinet. There's 5 calendars from 2005. I think we can let those go. I don't know, we probably picked them up somewhere, going to give them to people at Christmas or something, and either got extras or just didn't give them to them. It looks like I'm done with the bags that were down there, so I grabbed out some of the smaller boxes. So I'm going to look through all of these and see if there's anything that I actually need to keep. I'm hoping most of it can just go. So far, I have some trash that I'm going to be letting go of. And there's some holiday cards in here, Christmas cards that I'm not going to use these. So I'm going to go ahead and let those go. There's some pencil sharpeners and pens and pencils. I need to go through all of this and see if the pens actually work. But I don't think we need to keep all these pencils, all these pens. So I'm going to go through that and then let most, if not all of that, go and throw away the ones that don't work anymore. What I am going to keep, for now, I think I'll keep these colored pencils. I may not keep them, but for now I'm going to keep them. And I'm going to keep my Harry Potter pencils. There's some staples, and then I'm going to keep a couple of these pencil sharpeners. I'm going to see if hubby wants one, and then I'm going to put one in my office as well. And then this little pad of paper. So far, that is what I'm keeping from this stuff. Oh, and this is hubby, so I'll give that to him. It's actually, these things glow in the dark or something, so they're special. They're not just regular beads. And then this was a piece of Tupperware. We obviously never used it, but it's like a little kit that you can take on vacation. You can put your toiletries and stuff in here, but it's been in the box all these years. I don't need to keep it, so I'm just going to let it go. I still have these two boxes to go through, but I wanted to show you. This is the sort of thing that I would do. I would just put all kinds of stuff into a box. So now I need to go through all of this and see if any of this is anything other than just trash at this point. And this looks like a box of Christmas cards. I don't know if they're used or not, so I'm going to go through that. So I'm going to go through these two, but first I want to clean up this right here because I need the space. This box was full of Christmas cards, unused Christmas cards, but they smell kind of musty, so I'm just going to go ahead and let them go because I know I'm not going to use them. And out of this box, I found a few little things, just a handful of things that I'm going to hang on to. This one, because it has some addresses from people, family members, and it's written in their own handwriting, and some of them have passed away. So I want to hang on to that just for that purpose. And had a little bit of money in there, so be sure you go through stuff. You never know. You might find a little money. Might not be much, but you never know. But the rest of what was in this was basically just trash. I'm going to just put it in the shred or in the trash bin because I didn't need to keep any of it. Well, this box had a lot of things, office things in it. Some of them I'm going to keep, at least for now, and some I'll be letting go of. But you can see these are from old floppy disks. This is I guess like a planner type thing, and it is from 2000. But you know, I've told you before, I will write down, or used to, I would write down things in my planners and then never do anything with them. And this is an example of where I was always, you know, clean and declutter and organize or whatever. And this is one of them. I had set up a plan for myself, what I wanted to do on a daily basis. And just from the looks of this thing, I probably never did anything more than that. But the rest of the pages are good, so for now, I will hang on to that. There's some erasers, some colored pencils. Here's some old mail that I need to go through a little bit more thoroughly to see if we need to keep any of it. Some tapes and stuff like that. Some things that are hubbies. But I also had a little bit of things that I can throw in the recycle bin. And here's an organizer that never got written in. Several packs of pencils. I think I have plenty of pencils, so I'm just going to go ahead and let those go. This little hole punch thing you can put in your binder. This is a whole thing of pens. I'm going to go through this and see if any of these work. And if they do, then I'll just pass them on. And if they don't, then I'm going to toss them. I don't know if these work. I'm not sure if these were hubby's, so I'll have to ask him about that. Had a couple of little address books or whatever they are, and some erasers. So all of this stuff is going to go, and that's going to get tossed into the recycle bin. I found a lot of things that are going to go into the trash, the shred, or into the recycle bin. and I found some pens and pencils that I'm going to go through, and I'm going to check all of the pens, and if they don't work, I'm going to toss them. If they do work, I'm just going to go ahead and pass them along because I think we have plenty of pens. I don't think we need to hang on to all of that stuff. And I have a little bit of mail that I'm going to go through a little bit more thoroughly before I put it through the shredder. Then I also have all of these items that I am going to be gifting away. And then I have a few items I'm going to put into the garage, a few items that I'm going to let hubby go through, some things I'm going to put into the Christmas bin, and some items that I am keeping for now. Some of these things I'll probably keep, and some things, next time I go through it, I may decide I don't need it after all. But the only thing left down here is this box, and I did look in there, and it has some office supplies, and I'm not going to go through that box yet, but we made a lot of progress.
Once upon a dream, I had a million little things. I needed every one of them for my imaginings. I thought of all the ways that I could use the bobs and bits. Everything I dreamed of was at my fingertips. But when my fingers touched them, I couldn't let them go. I couldn't bear to use them. My pile began to grow. Every little lovely thing that could have come to pass never formed beyond the dreams of happening, alas. And so I bought another thing to fill the need at hand, and extras just in case the new one didn't work as planned. But in my dreams, a million things became a million more. So I picked up all 2 million things and tossed them out the door.
If you decluttered anything along with me today, let me know in the comments. What did you go through? What did you keep? And what did you decide to let go of? I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you guys back here next week to declutter some more stuff in my basement. And I hope you have something that you want to declutter along with me. I put the items that I kept down on that shelf so that I can go through them again on round 2. But for now, I've got the room reset and ready for the next time I come down here to declutter. So be sure you tidy up your area so it's ready for you when you come back to continue your decluttering.
What you doing, Pumpkin? Yeah? Are you going to declutter some stuff? Yeah. Happy decluttering!